to show you how to do Halloween makeup or monster makeup. Today we're going to be doing the Beast. It's very similar to a human lion, and with the effects of highlight and shadow and a wig, we'll be able to give you an excellent effect. Come on over and I'll show you what we're going to do with the makeup. You'll see that the back of the box explains what makeups you need. You're going to need black for shadowing, white for highlight, and you're going to need a flesh tone of some kind. Now I have 3 different types of makeup here. It really doesn't matter what you use with the ghoulies. I also need a couple of brushes. I have a wide one and a smaller, narrower one. I also have a makeup pencil and a couple of sponges. One to apply the makeup, another one to stipple. Then I'm going to need liquid latex. Now you might get the small bottle that has the brush inside. Now I'm going to use the larger pint size. I like to pour it into another container and deal with it that way. And for cleanup, it's good to have some kind of makeup remover. I use a towelette. It makes it nice for the client. Okay, what we're going to do is pull the ghoulie out, and we've got to start by trimming the nostrils and around the eyes if they're needed. So this is the ghoulie, the Beast. Behind, take it and just snip the nostril holes. Once that's concluded, you go ahead and fit it on the person to make sure that the eyes and brow line up. Now this seems to be alright. In some cases you would need to trim right along the eyes for the particular person that you're fitting it on. Now I'm going to put the ghoulie onto Scott's face. With the eyebrow pencil, I'm going to draw around it. Now Scott, if you can reach up there and hold it on, you want to hold these edges out here with both your hands. Right here. I can get the top. You take it there and there. Okay. Now, take the eyebrow pencil. This will give us a line that we can put the latex on. I want to be sure to line up the ghoulie correctly so that when I'm putting the latex on, it will fit his face. Now we'll take the chin, we'll do the same thing, we'll apply it. Fit it there. We can go ahead and pull the rest off. And then trace the chin. You want to even trace up on his lip so that you know exactly where you're going to put the liquid latex. then what you'll have is that line where liquid latex fits in, and then you'll put liquid latex on the edge of your appliance, and then they'll match up. Now I'm using the pint latex, and I'm pouring it into just a container. This is what I'll apply the appliance with. Now one little makeup tip is that when I'm going to use this brush for putting on the latex, but in order that I don't get it all clogged up, I'll take some of the makeup and put it on the brush. This will seal the bristles, and I'll be able to use it for latex and then later pull the latex off and use it for applying the makeup. Now, what I want to do with the makeup, or with the latex, is then put it along inside the line that we've put, trying not to drip it like that. Also, it takes about 2 coats of latex to get a good seal. It's important when you're using latex to try to keep it out of the hair. You can use spirit gum, and around hair that won't matter if you get it in the hair, because you can use a makeup remover to pull it out. But with latex, getting it in the hair is a no-no. You want to put the latex right up underneath the eye, but you don't want to get it into the eyebrow. You'll paint it right up in. Of course, I need to pull his hair up, and sometimes it's good to have somebody helping you to be able to do that. It's also good just to do one part of the appliance at a time. So I'll be doing the top part of the appliance, and then I'll come back and do the chin separately. It's good to put plenty of latex along the lip line, so that during the party that he's going to, as he eats and drinks, he doesn't lose his lip. person having the makeup applied becomes very relaxed. And sometimes you have to poke him to wake him up. There. Although he doesn't have to be awake to do the makeup. Now I need to move to the other side in order to get the other side of the makeup. Close. It's also good to have plenty along the nose line here. Once again across the lips. Now we take the appliance and we put the latex on the edge. The key here is to put latex on the edge, on the face, let both of them dry about 3 minutes, and then apply them. You'll get a contact bond which will keep the makeup on a lot longer. Now go across twice. What's dried will build up just a little bit more. Now this particular appliance has a fairly flat forehead, so I can go ahead and put more latex on that area, and that will secure it a little better. Now, what we want to do is let this dry about 3 minutes, and then we'll apply it to the face. Now that we've let it dry, Scott, if you'll hold your hair back, we'll attempt to put this on. What I want to do is I'm going to attach the lip first and work my way up, so I can catch his nose. And I want to stretch it out to the side. Stretch it out over here. And then place it from here into his eyes. And then tap it into the latex that's on his face. Now, in order to get it to adhere a little better, I'll take some more latex and go around the perimeter and seal it up. This also thins out the edge and hides the edge of the appliance. Particularly in the eye edge, you want to get this in. Now, at the same time that I'm getting the edge smoothed out, I'll also put latex here on the mouth around where the chin will go, and let that begin to adhere. then the latex will now go on to the chin piece. Then we allow about 3 minutes for this to dry, and we'll come back and apply it to his chin. So now our 3 minutes is up, and we will go ahead and apply the chin, catching his lip, moving it from side to side, and then holding it while we pull the chin underneath. And then we'll use the same technique of putting latex into the crevice that we used on the top half. This will seal the edge down. Now, given time, you can build this up more and taper it out into the face and create an even better edge. Open a little bit. Now this should take about another 3 minutes. You can hit it with a hair dryer and speed up that time. We'll let this latex dry, and then we're ready to go ahead and apply the makeup. Okay, now we're ready to apply the makeup. What I've got here is a medium flesh and just a piece of foam rubber. Now, there's no big trick to this. You're going to just wipe the flesh not only on the appliance but also onto the skin areas. This is the initial base coat. Be sure to get it in the eye area. And don't worry if it doesn't get into all the crevices, because you'll be able to touch those up with a brush. It's good to work it right on down the neck to the collar so that everything blends together. up underneath. Some places you can't get with the sponge, you can get it with the brush. And now this is where the box might come in handy. If you take a piece of cardboard or a piece of plastic, you can then use it to put your black on, which is your shadowing color. So, let's see here, a little black. Now if you're using a pancake, of course you won't need to do this. I'm using a cream and I need something to place it on. So I'm also now changing to the smaller brush, not the one I used for the liquid latex, but the smaller, narrower brush. Put a little bit of black on it, and I'm going to go into all the crevices that are in the sculpture and do the nostril holes, round those out. This will shadow them in and make them stand out. Simply just go around and run the black right in all those little crevices. At first this will seem a little severe, but as we go along you'll see how it will diminish. You might even outline the edge of the nose. Up underneath the brow. And along the eyes. This will sink the eyes in and make it appear as if they're deeper. Now, you might want to leave just a little bit of the flesh tone right along the edge of the eye. We'll also highlight that so that you can see the eyelid there. The lips you'll also want to darken just a little bit. It will hide the edge of the appliance and make the lips turn under, or appear to turn under. Now under the lip, there's a little bit of a crevice. You can accentuate that with just a little bit of black on your brush. Draw it out. That'll shadow it. shadowing underneath these high points. We'll punch them out a little bit more. Now we create an illusion right in this area here by darkening, which gives the illusion of more of a snout. I can do it right over to this line that's sculpted in. And a little bit fading it out over this area. And then in the temple area here, I want to darken it. That will sink it into his face. It also hides his edge. Same shadowing on this side, underneath the little bulge here. That will give it more depth. And then across this area to bring out the lip area here. Now the shadowing should go all the way back to his ear, back here. Just a little bit, not real dark, but enough that you see a shadowing effect. Now what I'm going to do is go back to my sponge and base makeup and do a little of shadowing of this black. Now I've got a little too much here on the lip, so I can just go over the top and diminish it. I want to create it going kind of straight down, so I'll go over this area and then this area and then wipe it across the black, which will mix a little bit and give me a shadowing as opposed to just a sharp black look. At this point I'll hit some of my other areas to bring out the flesh tone. This will move the black around a little bit, fading it out, but keeping it in these areas. From this area, I draw it down and it fades it into the flesh tone. makes it a little more subtle than it was when I originally put it on. Across the lines up here. The makeup won't go down into the crevice, so what you do is it ends up cleaning up that line and just makes it dark in the crevice. Now I want to take a little black and put it on my sponge. Just a little bit, right on the edge. And I want to go into this area at the eye and draw it back to shadow. Right in through here and again through this side. What I do, you can see that I'm getting a little bit of a depth there. Draw that out. You can do it right down the center also. See how these lines here now start to work their way down in. Again, if I do too much, if it's a little too dark, I can come back with the flush, a little flush on my sponge, and lighten those areas up just a little bit. Okay, I've gone back to the brush and the flush tone, a little bit down in the crevice here. Don't want it quite as dark as I've got it, so I'll just go down in, clean it up. I want it, there we go, not quite as dark. And I can do that up here. I don't want it quite as dark as I had it. There's a little bit of this you need to do all the way around to lighten it, darken it. Make it a little more subtle. Clean up his mouth area. And there was a spot right here I need to do a little black with. So bring over the black. Clean that up again with a little of the flesh so it's not so noticeable. And then blend it out. Now I think if we take a little bit of a a red or a peach, I can give his lip a little bit of color. And I've got a little color ring here, and I'm just going to take a little bit on my finger, a little bit of the red. Need to wipe it off quite a bit. And give him just a little bit across his lip, just a little color, and across the top. Makes for a little cleaner look. Taper it down a little bit. Now this is real subtle. You probably don't notice it in the video, but up close you would. Maybe a little bit on the nose, give him a little color, and maybe some across his cheeks. After all, this is a human lion, and we all have a little color in our cheeks. And then the final step will be the highlight. And we need to take some white. Now with my top, I've squirted on a little white, and I've got my sponge. I just want a little bit, so I'll dab it around, dab it in, and then dab it off. And then go across all the high points. Now you want very little, but in a moment you'll see, start to see where it picks up the light here and there. A very subtle effect, but this is your highlight, which gives you then the highlight and shadow effect when you're using the black in the crevices, the white along the high points. Get your highlight shadow. Just work that right along the high points, up on the cheeks. Along the edge of the lip. Create just a little edge right there. It'll pick up the light. You start to see it now. Got a little bit right here. You can always wipe a little off. Across the top of the lip. Not too much. If you get too much on, just wipe a little of it off. Highlight his nose. And in that area that we created here, we want to put a little highlight, so go right along the black there. There. Down on his chin, just a little bit. You can see here where I've got a little too much. Now I'll just use the other side, blend it back in. Very subtle. And then in between the cracks up here are high points. So you can go across with a little bit of white. Now I've made some lines up here. Now I go back and just blend them down just a little bit. There we go. Now I think there's one more thing we need to do, and that would be on a beast you'd probably have some hair up in these areas, maybe along here. We'll take a stipple sponge and we'll put a little of that in.